This might be just a peanut, but for them it is a huge business. The global peanut market was valued at $86.5 billion in 2024. By 2027 it might reach $99.7 billion. Peanuts are grown in warm areas throughout Asia, Africa, Australia, and North and South America. There are mainly 4 types of peanuts: Runner, Virginia, Spanish, and Valencia. The Spanish peanut is the most widely grown type of peanut. This peanut type is grown in China, which is the largest producer of peanuts. Last year China produced approximately 18 million tons of peanuts. This is 40% of global peanut production from mainland China. It's interesting to note that peanuts were initially brought to the Chinese by Portuguese traders. Coming up next, you will watch the step-by-step process of making peanuts. How are they grown and harvested? And what are the products made from peanuts? If you like this type of content, subscribe to this channel and show your support with likes and comments. Now let's dive in. To grow peanuts, the field must first be cleared. It involves removing previous crop residues, weeds, stones, and other debris. Maintaining clean fields results in a better pegging process later. Farmers often conduct some soil tests to identify the soil's pH level, nutrient content, and any deficiencies. Slightly acidic to neutral pH levels are considered preferable for peanuts. It is equally important to till the soil so it remains well aerated and free of big clumps. Rows are formed in the field using a plow, disc arrows, or other equipment. Depending on the kind of equipment utilized, the row-to-row gap is usually 24 to 36 inches. The seed needs to be buried 2 to 9 inches deep in the soil. This depth is critical because it ensures the seeds get enough soil while preventing them from being buried too deeply. You can sow them with your hands, but nowadays special equipment is available for this task. For example, the MaxEmerge 5 is an advanced planter from John Deere. Thanks to its cutting-edge sensors and state-of-the-art sowing system, this machine does the whole work in one go. This includes everything from tilling the soil to sowing the seed and burying them. From some seed, a baby plant comes out in just 4 days. The plants grow their leaves and begin to blossom. Within 12 days you can give it water once a week. Consistent hydration is essential while the peanut plants develop and build their root systems. Proper irrigation ensures good germination, growth, and ultimately a healthy yield. Interestingly, peanuts are the most water-efficient nuts produced in the world. Peanuts typically require about 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week during this phase. In 40 days, the peanut plants produce yellow flowers. Peanuts don't require help from bees and insects to start pollinating when the pollination starts. The yellow flowers lose their petals, and the ovary at the base of the flower develops into a narrow stem-like structure called a peg. These pegs grow downward and penetrate the soil, which is called pegging. Farmers make sure that the soil around the peanut plant is soft enough to make the pegging process easier. During this phase, water requirements increase from 1.5 to 2 inches per week. In dry and hot conditions, it requires more water. This is why some farmers rely on advanced soil moisture probes to monitor water and soil nutrition. Birdsong Peanuts, a peanut company in Florida, produces 5,600 pounds of peanuts per acre. They heavily rely on these sensors and weather stations to yield maximum peanuts as peanuts approach maturity. Reducing the amount of water can help ease the harvest process by preventing overly wet soil. However, it's essential not to let the plants dry out completely, as this can affect the quality of the peanuts. Knowing when to harvest peanuts is crucial for ensuring the best yield and quality. Different varieties may have varying growth durations. For instance, some varieties mature in 120 days, while others could take up to 150 days or more. One of the most reliable indicators of peanut maturity is the color of the inner sides of the shells. The initial step in harvesting peanuts involves uprooting the peanut plants to expose the peanut pods. You can pull up the peanut plant from the ground and position it upside down. Doing so with a digger shaker inverter is super easy. The machine pulls up and shakes the peanut vines to remove excess soil, using adjustable knocker wheels to control the intensity of the shaking. The machine also inverts uprooted peanut vines to create windrows. The pulled-up peanuts are dried in sunlight and wind. For 2 to 4 days, the drying process reduces the moisture content of the peanuts, making them less prone to fungal infections and improving their shelf life. After the drying phase, the combine moves on to the threshing process. This machine separates the peanuts from the vines. Rotating drums or shakers inside the combine facilitate this separation. The separated peanuts are then collected in a hopper or storage compartment within the combine. The leftover plant vines and leaves are often expelled back onto the field to decompose and enrich the soil. Modern peanut combines are equipped with cleaning systems that further clean the harvested peanuts by removing any remaining soil, stones, or other debris. Once the combine gets fully loaded, it transfers the peanuts. These machines have their own inbuilt tipping mechanism. The transfer can also be done using a conveyor system. If distance is long, the loaded trucks are covered with tarps to safely transport them with minimum exposure to elements or pests. These trucks go to the buying points. A buying point is a facility responsible for receiving, weighing, cleaning, drying, inspecting, grading, and preparing peanuts for storage and shelling. Upon arrival, the loaded truck is weighed, and the inspection of the peanuts starts. They use a pneumatic puller that from above, the truck takes the peanuts and puts them in a sample bag. This sample puller follows a specific pattern to get peanuts from the entire peanut truck. The sample bag is weighed to ensure that it is at least 15 grams. Next, the sample peanuts are fed into a foreign material machine. This machine removes everything except peanut kernels packed in their hulls. A quality inspector also weighs the foreign materials filtered out of the sample. From these calculations, they can identify the peanut to foreign material ratio. The hull of a peanut plays an important role in its preservation. The kernels, either partially or completely without hulls, are known as LSKS. Their separate inspection determines whether they are infected by moles or not. After testing the quality, these peanuts are cleaned and graded. Before storing the peanuts, they need to be dried generally. Peanuts have 20 to 30% moisture. These peanuts must be dried and left with at least 10% moisture. This can be done using natural sun drying. But where the sun doesn't shine every day, they use fans to dry peanuts in the air. Once the required amount of moisture is achieved, the peanuts can be stored for extended periods without significant quality loss. A peanut with a moisture level of 9% can remain fresh for almost 1 year. This is the world's largest peanut shelling plant, located in the lush land of Douglas, Georgia. It belongs to Premium Peanut, which has over 200 grower owners and 7 buying points. Interestingly, half of the peanuts produced in the USA are grown in Georgia. The location of this plant adds to the worth of this shelling plant. From the warehouses, the graded and tested peanuts go to this shelling plant via trucks. Separating different qualities of peanuts in advance optimizes the output of the shelling plant. The shelling plant receives the farmer's stock. From there, the journey of peanuts starts on shaking conveyors. First of all, dirt and contaminants are removed from the stalk, so it does not affect further peanut processing. Arrowhead steel antlers, clay pottery, anything. There's a lot of things that can be in it, and in our cleaner area, we try to remove as much as that as possible. Next, the peanuts are fed into a rotating drum or cylinder, equipped with slotted walls. As the drum rotates, the peanuts rub against each other and the drum's walls. This friction causes the shells to crack open. The peanuts and their cracked shells then pass over screens or through air columns, where the lighter shells separate from the heavier kernels. A peanut gravity separator is used to sort peanuts based on their densities. Through vibration and upward airflow, peanuts are stratified on the machine's deck, with heavier, high-quality kernels rising to the top and lighter, damaged or foreign materials settling at the bottom. This separation ensures that only the best peanuts are selected for the market or further processing, while undesirable particles are efficiently removed. The peanuts are then sent to the optical sorters, using spiral and shaking conveyor systems. These optical sorters incorporate a variety of sensors, including infrared and RGB lights, ultraviolet cameras, etc. The sensors identify any remaining foreign material, with shelled kernels, and provide instructions to pneumatic equipment, which discards the useless material. Now the peanuts are 99.9% clean. After sorting and shelling, the peanuts are put into huge bags and stored until a buyer purchases them. But what happens with the peanut hulls? Yes, peanut shells can be utilized as well. As you can see, the separated peanut husk is fed into a machine via a conveyor belt. This equipment is known as the peanut baler. It compresses peanut hulls and wraps them in plastic to make transportation easier. These packaged peanut hulls are distributed to farmers, who crush them into fine powder and incorporate it into livestock feed. Peanut hulls contain cellulose and crude fiber, making them a good roughage diet for a variety of cattle. In contrast, the brown skin is used to make bird feed. If you want to know how the brown skin from thousands of peanuts is removed, keep watching the video now. We have the peanuts ready to make different food products. This is Peanut Chew, a delicious chewy, chocolatey, bite-sized candy loaded with crunchy roasted peanuts. Let's see how they make thousands of these in the factory. Peanuts in supersize bags, weighing around 2,000 pounds, are brought to the cocking area. Next, molasses, sugar syrup, and other ingredients are mixed together. This mixture is deposited on stainless steel conveyors. Following that, the mixture is cooled through a coolant tower. The ready chew is pressed down using rollers to give it a uniform size. It is then separated into 27 rows. Another blade slices them crosswise to form bite-sized pieces. Now, it is time to completely coat them from top to bottom. With chocolate, the pieces travel on inclined conveyors, so the spread of chocolate covers them from top to bottom. This process is called enrobing. Air is also shot on the top to remove the extra chocolate. Now the chocolate also needs to be cooled down. This is the time to pack the Peanut Chew. Lastly, the finished bars are put into a handbox, and then into the cases. One of the most famous peanut products is peanut butter. You may be surprised to know that peanut butter was invented in 1890 by an American doctor. He basically prescribed it as a protein substitute for those who can't chew food. Approximately 11 peanuts are required to make a 500-gram jar of peanut butter. Runner peanuts are the best for making peanut butter. First of all, peanuts travel through a roaster. The peanut roaster roasts them at 204 degrees Celsius until they turn from white to brown. Next, the peanuts are cooled down to room temperature. The skin of the peanut does not taste good, so it is removed by the blanching process. Following that, the peanuts are split into halves. Next, the color sorting machine removes the roasted peanuts and aflatoxins. The selected peanuts go through a high-precision mill. This machine processes them until they transform into a paste. More ingredients are also added at this point to modify the flavor and look of peanut butter. These may include salt, sugar, and small amounts of hydrogenated vegetable oil. The hydrogenated vegetable oil acts as a stabilizer, meaning it keeps the homogeneous look of the peanut butter. by preventing peanut oil from floating on top. Due to the friction of the grinding forces, the peanut butter heats up to 60 degrees Celsius. It is cooled down to 30 degrees Celsius before being poured into glass jars. Next, the jar is sealed and labeled. The unopened peanut can remain fresh for 6 to 9 months at room temperature. This is looking tasty. But we will move on to the next product, the peanut oil. Peanut kernels on average contain 45 to 55% oil by weight. But to extract oil from the peanut kernel, their moisture level should be minimal. This is why the moisture level is always measured before using a digital moisture meter. After cleaning and shelling, the kernels along with their skin are processed through an automatic expeller pressing machine. This machine presses the peanuts with sheer force, resulting in the separation of oil and the remaining material. The raw material can be used as animal feed. Here you can see oil coming out of peanuts after pressing them. The oil is ready, but it contains suspended particles. Therefore, it will be filtered twice and kept in tanks to cool down. Finally, the prepared oil is poured into the containers. These containers could be made of steel or plastic bottles. These are sealed up to avoid leaks from the manufacturing to the end customers. This machine is designed to roast peanuts. Roasting enhances the aroma, taste and texture of peanuts by exposing them to controlled heat. After roasting and salting, you can enjoy these peanuts.